I'm Mo Rocca, and I'm excited to announce Season 4 of my podcast, Mobituaries. I've got a whole new bunch of stories to share with you about the most fascinating people and things who are no longer with us. From famous figures who died on the very same day, to the things I wish would die, like buffets. All that and much more. Listen to Mobituaries with Mo Rocca wherever you get your podcasts.
Don't do it until you talk to us first. Hello, this is Anita Joyce here with Kelly Wilkness, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks, what we would talk you out of. And we do a lot of talking people out of things for some reason. It does seem to happen a lot.
Well, you would think a decorator or designer is going to be talking people into things. Oh, buy the sofa, get the drapes, get the pillows. But really, a good decorator, a good designer is going to end up talking people out of a lot of things. And by virtue of that, saving them a lot of money, either initially or down the line.
Yeah, it seems like we do as much talking people out of things as we do talking them into them, because it seems like sometimes people have they've seen something on Pinterest or somewhere and they kind of say, that thing, I want that thing. And, they don't really kind of visualize how it might work with their house. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So, you can't really take something out of context like that. Mm-hmm.
So true. There's a lot of instances when the talking out of is something that really needs to be done. So it's great to have a relationship with a client like I do with a lot of my clients, and I'm sure Anita does as well, where they trust me on the things that I'm saying, come on, it's going to be great, but they're not sure. So we do a little hand holding there, and then we do a little stopping with the no. And, they need to trust you when you think it's no as well. So today we're going to go through a selection of a number of things that may come up, things either being decorating decisions or specific items that we would say no to. So Anita, you want to kick us off?
Yes. And I was thinking about this was a specific thing that actually happened with one of our DTT clients, and that was the trendy tile that a client had picked out. And they were pretty tiles. I mean, I don't think that neither one of us disliked the tile, but we were very concerned that these very graphic tiles, and when I say graphic, I mean had a lot of contrast in a very bold pattern. I don't mean graphic as in naughty. Very graphic tiles just were not we did not feel like they were going to stand the test of time. And again, tile, it's a commitment. It's not going to be easy to change out later on. So we really think that that's something that you need to think about and make sure that you're selecting something that you're going to like for 15, 20 years, or hopefully, the long term, because it's not something easily changed. It's not like a pillow. I mean, go fun with the pillows, but really think about the long term when you're thinking about tiles.
One that happens all the time. Premature purchases are a bad idea. If you're decorating and designing a space, and certainly if you're renovating a space, it is not a great idea for a client who's relying on you to make these premature purchases. Now, certainly if you're designing something on your own and you are certain that this is really what you want, and you are certain that at the end of the day it is going to fit in the room, work in the room, and make you really happy, pull the trigger and make that purchase early on. But when you're working with a designer and you're still coming up with thoughts and you're still putting a plan together and maybe the room hasn't really taken shape yet, sometimes a client will see something, they think they're getting a deal and they buy it, they don't measure it, the color might be wrong, maybe they didn't have an opportunity to pick the right fabric. There's so many things that can be wrong with that purchase. And in addition, if you're doing a renovation, you got to store it somewhere while all of this is going on. Sometimes while the plaster dust is flying, now you have to store a sofa or something like that. So my suggestion is, whether you're working with a decorator or you're doing it on your own, wait. It's not a bargain if at the end of the day it's not going to fit or you're not going to like it. Hold on. If it's an antique piece that you're never going to see again and you love it, purchase it with the idea in your mind that you need to be flexible. Maybe it's going to work in the room you thought it would work in, but maybe it's not. But if you can put it someplace else, fine. take pause.
Right. I think, and this goes back to some other things that we've talked about, seeing something in isolation. So if you see something and you just really want it, but it's not time for you to make that purchase yet, or you haven't talked to your designer, one beautiful piece that you see in the store doesn't mean it's going to work with your design. It's not just an issue of, is it going to fit physically in the room? But you've got to consider the design as the whole. And really, I think that's what a good decorator or a good designer does, because I think that's the harder thing to do. I think most clients are very good about picking out things that are really beautiful. The problem comes in when you're trying to make it all work together. I think that's the really much harder thing to do. And that's what you're paying the designer for if you're using one. So definitely, hold off on buying things until you check with him or her. Yeah, to make sure it's all going to work. Another thing that I was thinking about, stained cabinets. Actually, I just don't see the stained cabinets coming back in anytime soon. And if you have stained cabinets and you like them again, I don't think there's anything wrong with them, but I would be concerned about someone putting in a new kitchen and putting in stained cabinets, because I feel like they're not going to like them down the road. I just don't see that look coming back in a big way anytime soon. So unless you're just really in love with it.
Okay, let's stay in the kitchen for a second. Something I see time and time again when I am going to open houses, which, you used to be able to just stroll in looking for a friend or, just sort of tire kicking and getting ideas. Oftentimes when people are renovating to stay or renovating to go, even more so, they will make some bold moves in their kitchen, thinking, oh yeah, we're going to get this up to snuff and change this room and make this room really look like a designer kitchen. But in fact, they don't pay any attention to what the rest of the house looks like. So then the kitchen looks like it was created in a vacuum or is created off-site and somebody just plopped it in there. There's no flow. Mm-hmm. I would rather see a more antiquated kitchen that works with the rest of the house than sort of a kitchen with granite if they're moving out, and it might not be the colors that somebody else even wants. So they're spending a lot of money and a lot of time and effort for a kitchen that probably your buyer is not going to even want. And if you're doing it and you're staying in the house and you're updating the kitchen, don't just update the kitchen based on what you're seeing on Pinterest or you're seeing in these kitchen and bath magazines and things like that. Think about what your whole house looks like and how you could update your kitchen so it flows and works with the look of the rest of your house. Unless you're in the market to change a lot of things in the other rooms, it's very strange and jarring to walk into a room, and I'm using the kitchen because oftentimes that is the room people do make these bold moves in, and it just doesn't work. That would be a bad idea.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that's an excellent point. Now, my next thing that I would talk you out of is a gallery wall. And they're very popular. And it's not that I don't like gallery walls, but I feel like it's hard to make them look really good. I think it takes more than, you can't just throw stuff up there any which way and make it work. And so that's why I kind of lean against doing a gallery wall. I have seen some beautifully done, but most of them I'm really not that crazy about. And again, that's a personal preference. Kelly may not agree with me on that one, but I don't know. That one's just kind of how I feel about that one.
No, I'll go along with that as well. If somebody said to me, let's create a gallery wall, well, let me see what you want to put in your gallery first. And it's not going to come together by accident. It has to be really well thought out. And are you willing to make all those holes in your wall and perhaps get tired of it in a year? Mm-hmm. That's going to involve some filling and probably a new paint job and all of that. So that might not be 100% a no, but definitely take pause, think about it, and consider it in connection with the rest of your rooms as well. If you have an open concept house and you've got this giant gallery wall going on, well, that's going to be busy and you're going to see that from a lot of different angles. So I think it has a place, but not in all spaces. Speaking of open concepts, since I just mentioned that term, now, don't get upset with me, Anita. I love your open concept because it was a planned open concept. Your house was built to look that way, and you do it beautifully. What I would tell people no to is knocking down walls in a house that was not intended to be an open concept house. I think that rarely works. So say you've got an older home that has smaller rooms and you just want to open up the space, but it doesn't really work with your Central Hall Colonial or your Cape Cod or me with my Victorian. I thought about knocking some walls down between our living room and our dining room, and I just think it would have taken away from the feeling of the house. So I'm so glad I never did that. We didn't really take any walls down, but the way we configured the space really let the light in and things like that. So I think there are ways to achieve what the client or the person, the homeowner may want to do without taking down the walls and kind of like disrupting the integrity of an older home.
Well, that's interesting you say that, and I think I know what you're talking about. I've certainly seen some houses built maybe in the 60s, 70s where they took some walls down, and it looked a little odd. So I kind of get what you're saying, especially if it has low ceilings. I think it can feel off. However, I have to say in my neighborhood with these 100-year-old houses, the houses were just built so differently then, and really the layouts just do not make sense for the way we live. So I have seen a lot of houses in my neighborhood where they have taken down the walls, and I think it's really worked beautifully. So my personal feeling is it really does depend, because I've seen it done well, and I've seen it done where it's not so crazy, not so hot looking.
I respect that, even though I went along with you with the gallery wall. Here, I got another one for you you're not going to like.
Okay.
I say no to very bold and colorful rugs. And I know you like a rug that has a lot more color in it than I normally do.
Right.
I just think it then becomes the focal point of the room. Now, I'm probably talking about a rug that has a lot more going on in it than you would choose, but I just feel like the rug should just be foundational. Maybe you have a little vintage thing going on, but something just sort of muted. I don't like rugs, particularly if you're going to spend a lot of money for a rug. If you're going to go on Overstock and it's a $200 rug and you really love it, well, hopefully it lasts long enough and you don't chuck it in the landfill too soon. But hey, for some fun at that price point, okay, if you insist. But most of my clients, if they're going to invest in a rug, they're going to want to get a wool rug. They're going to end up spending a lot more money. So I tend to tell people, no, let's not make the rug the focal point.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. I mean, I think that's a very interesting approach. And it's like you said, I mean, I don't like anything too colorful. I usually kind of go with 2-color rugs, but I do like some color and pattern in my rugs, but nothing that kind of slaps you in the face.
Skipping moldings. Projects get expensive, particularly if you're doing a bigger renovation or adding something to your home, adding a bedroom or adding another bathroom or something like that. And people are often looking for places to save. Well, there are a lot of good places to save money and do things a little bit differently, but I don't think one of those places is skipping moldings. Moldings are not that expensive overall, particularly if you're doing a big project. They're a very small percentage of what you'd be paying to do a big project, and they make such an impact. So I would always tell clients, if they say, we don't really need crown molding, no, like you really do need some molding.
You don't know you do, but you do.
Yeah, you really do. We're not going this far and not doing the molding. It's like a face without eyebrows. Come on.
Go the distance. Oh, I so agree with you. Put the money into the trim.
Yay! Well, we're back on.
But even our disagreements were like slight variations.
They were so nice and so gentle disagreements.
Yes, it's kind of like
you got
just
one I can disagree with now? Come on.
Oh, yeah, here's one but I think you're going to agree with me on this one. Cool gray paint on the walls. I love gray paint, and we love the gray. The gray is not as hot as it was, but I don't like to see anything too cool, too steel blue on the wall. I think it can feel harsh and, dare I say, kind of service station-ish. So I really, if you're going to use gray on a wall, which I think is a perfectly legitimate color, I have gray on my walls, but it's a very warm, mine's a kind of a more of a putty color, gray. So, that's my suggestion, is to go with more of a warmer gray. So are we agreeing? We're agreeing. There you go.
Agreed. Ding. Agreed. BritBox just keeps getting better. The new Archie is amazing. And it's not the comics. It's about Cary Grant. Archie is the brand new limited series starring Jason Isaacs as Archie Leach, the man who became Cary Grant. From the award-winning screenwriter of Philomena, Archie tells Grant's born in Britain, made in Hollywood story, the dramatic grit to glamour transformation that led him to become one of the most famous people in the world. You are going to absolutely love the acting, but also the styling, the outfits, the scenery. It's the first time his story has been told in collaboration with his daughter Jennifer Grant and ex-wife Diane Cannon. The performances from Jason Isaacs and the rest of the cast are amazing, and it's only available on BritBox. So sign up for BritBox today to stream Archie and other fan favorites from any device. And we have a special limited time offer for our U.S. and Canadian listeners. Get 50% off, yes, that's 50% off your first month when you sign up for a monthly plan. But only if you go to BritBox.com and use our promotion code DTT at checkout. You're going to love Archie. So head over right now and get 50% off your first month of BritBox. Use the promotion code DTT at BritBox.com. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy-to-reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. How about renovating or decorating around something you don't like just because you have it? This is going to end up costing you money and sadness.
This is interesting. This is the same thing that I pretty much said too. And you know what I say is that you're being held hostage.
Yeah.
By whatever it is. Not only should you get rid of the thing that you don't like, but don't decorate around it. If it's something, because I've had clients come and say, I don't like this paneling. It doesn't look great to me, but we're not going to change it. And you need to work around it. And I'm thinking, but we can change everything else. And it's still not going to look good because of the paneling. Not to say all paneling looks bad, but I'm just saying they had paneling that they didn't like. So I agree with you. If there's something in there you really don't like, I think you have to address it and either get rid of it or paint it or change it.
Yeah. Because unless it's a situation where you have to compromise, oh, brother. But if both people or all people that are in the house don't like it and you're trying to save a little bit, then I just say, hold off until you can do it the right way, because you're going to spend a lot of money decorating around something that you don't like, and that thing is still going to be there, as Anita's pointing out. Another thing I would say no to and have said no to are giant kitchen islands. They dwarf the people that live there, in my opinion. You have to keep traveling all around it. And no matter how large your kitchen is, you really don't need an ice skating rink in the middle of it, right? Or a dance floor. Although maybe a dance floor would be fun. But it's just too big.
What are you calling too big?
Well, it really depends on this. It depends on the space.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
but
okay.
Anything
so
that's
you're saying
beyond...
something that... So you're not talking about a specific size. You're talking about an island that looks too big for the kitchen. Is that fair?
Yes, in general, right. But I mean, some of them are just clearly too big. Could be too big for the space. Just could be too. You could have a giant space, and you could have you have the room for it. But I say no, don't do it. Don't go that big, because I think it dehumanizes the room.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think. Well, right, and I agree that a too big island is not a good idea. But I do have to say this. Our kitchen island is the large. Well, actually, we've never had one before. It's a little. I would say it's a little on the large side, but it's so useful. I mean, it's just having that island has been such a game changer for my cooking and working, with other people in the kitchen. So I love the idea of an island. So I think what we're really talking about is one that's not proportional to your kitchen size. I'm telling you, it's like life-changing, my island. So I'm not going to diss my island. I'm just not.
You're going to stay on your island, even if I don't like it. Okay.
I'm keeping my island. I'm keeping my island.
Okay. Well, if you're putting in an island and you're listening, try to make it human scale, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
I think you'll be much happier.
Agreed.
And again, out of scale furniture in general, bad idea. Mm-hmm. Even if you fall in love with a tiny little something or other, if that's what you're going to have in a room with the giant tall ceilings, that's a bad idea. So that's in the no category as well.
Yes, absolutely. And we see that all the time. And that is, again, something in isolation. The piece of furniture might be great, but once you put it in the room, it's too big or it's too small. And really, usually I see things that are too small. But definitely you can go the other way. And speaking of sofas, here's my next one that I would talk someone out of, and that is a patterned sofa. As much as I love color and patterns, I think once you put a pattern on a sofa, you've started the clock ticking, and it's only going to look good for so long. Whereas if you go with a neutral color or even a solid color, as long as it doesn't look too much tied to a specific period of time, it's going to, last for the long haul, much more so. So I think you're really going to get your money's worth if you avoid those patterns on your sofa.
Yes, totally agreed. Another thing that seems to come up often, and of course, if you're trying to save money, it's a good thing to explore. But oftentimes when people want to make changes, they just really want to make a cosmetic change when a full renovation is necessary. Mm-hmm. Let's take kitchen cabinets, for example. If your kitchen cabinets are on their last leg or hanging on their last hinge, it's probably time to get some new cabinets rather than just investing in painting them, because painting cabinets, unless you're going to do it yourself, but if you're going to pay someone to come into your house and spend the time doing the right job, the prep and the sanding and all of that to paint your cabinets, you may as well explore replacing them and see what the difference is, because new cabinets are then going to take you into the future. The old cabinets you may not even be happy with after they're painted because they really needed to be replaced. Now, mm-hmm. I myself have done this. Oftentimes I'm like, well, just paint that and it'll be fine.
I know. How many times have we said that?
Right. And so having done that with myself in my own renovations numerous times, when it comes up with clients, we really have to examine it and get the different estimates and then make an educated decision. If the budget doesn't allow, the budget doesn't allow. But it's again like a no, don't just call the painter. Let's stop, pause, and get all the information. And when we moved into our house in San Marino, when we first came to California, I just whirled through the house pretty quick. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm going to be back in New York in 6 months. Doesn't really matter where I live. 15 years later, we're still here. But I was like, let's just paint those and we'll do this. And I got there and I really opened up the cabinets and I was like, ew, no, like these have to come off the wall. And there we went down to the studs. So it's definitely a stop, take pause, get information, then make your decision.
If the cabinets are old enough, painting really is just not going to do anything. I mean, I shouldn't say it's not going to do anything, but it's just not enough. Yeah. And then, of course, the next step up is refacing. But I know sometimes they're just not nice on the inside, or maybe they're the wrong height. It's just, just some things to keep in mind. So I would always check into seeing if you do need to reface or replace them. Another thing that I think was super hot in the past that's not as popular now that I really would advise against, and that is a media room. That's a lot of expense for a room that I think most people are really not going to use that much. Unless you're really going to spend a lot of time in there and you have a lot of extra space in your house, I really think you do better to make it into more of a multifunctional use room that you could use for a lot of different things.
I know, like, unless you're Steven Spielberg, like, do you really need a completely dark media room with those really glorified lazy boy chairs and all of that? Like, I don't know.
With the cup holders?
Those rooms make me sad. I wouldn't want to be in that room. I'm like, I need some daylight. Right? I know, no, thank you. Not my thing. Yeah,
Right,
I would definitely caution against that. I haven't had any client that has asked for one of those, but you never know. And also on that note, this is just off the top of my head. I didn't really think about this till now. Sometimes there's that pull and tug on the TV, whether to have a TV or not to have a TV, or if we do have a TV, what size should the TV be?
And where should it go? Should it go over the fireplace?
Right. So if there's the only choice, and we've really explored this in episodes and with listener questions and whatnot regarding the TV over the fireplace or the TV in the main living room area. Hey, if that's where it's got to go, that's where it's got to go. But don't make the compromise just getting a smaller TV. It's still going to be there. Mm-hmm. I just had this with another set of clients. They are currently sort of like a no TV family, and he is just dying to get a TV and to watch sports and do all this stuff. And she's kind of like, hey, just get like a 20-inch TV. And
my.
But it's still going to go in your living room. It will still be there. You might as well get the right size.
Well, and then that little 20-inch TV, I think somehow looks worse than a one that seems properly sized.
It looks dumb.
It looks weird, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so
I'm if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. And then cheer on the team when the game's on or something.
Exactly. Yeah, and another thing that I think people do is too much of one particular style in a room, like too much mid-century modern, for example. I've seen that where it's just a little too much. I think it's nice when you're going with another time period like that you mix in some other things and mix in some modern with the mid-century. And, I always like French mixed in with just about anything. So there's a lot of ways you can go with that.
Okay, let me say something about marble, and then I'm pretty much done with my list of no's for today. Anyway, if you really want marble, come with me and get it, if the budget allows. But don't get an imitation of marble that looks like an imitation of marble. Then choose something that's different, that's also either a natural type of stone or a good composite, but not one that's really trying to mimic the look of marble, because you're not going to be happy with that. If you really want marble and you decide that you can't live with it because of the beautiful patina that it achieves over the time, I would suggest just do something different. Find something else that you love, right? But don't try to, because it's kind of like when you're trying to get too close, but it's not the real thing. It's going to always fall short of your expectations.
I think what you're talking about is sometimes the compromise is not going to work. Sometimes the split the difference works, and sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of like the pizza conundrum. Do you want thick and chewy or thin and crispy? There's no middle ground. So I think that's where we are here. Okay.
Yes. So, Anita, what's our Instagram feature today?
Well, it's our old friend, Victoria Magazine. And like many print magazines, they're no longer in print, but they're still around as a digital version. And the pictures are just so beautiful. I'll tell you why I selected them. Was this one particular picture. It's a picture of a table set in a field. There's cattle in the background, and it's all set up with beautiful glasses and dishes and a tiered tray. And I just fell in love with that.
You have had this at your farm. It's beautiful.
Well, there's just something beautiful about this particular one. But, they just have classic traditional design. If you like traditional, you're going to love these. They have lots of gorgeous flowers, lots of beautiful dishes, and it's just always stunning.
Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh, so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. We're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And the deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants.
Okay, well, are you ready for your crush?
Yeah, my crush is Garden Secrets of Bunny Mellon. I don't think you can go wrong with this book. So that is my crush.
So my crush is, well, do you remember on Sesame Street, they used to say that today's episode is brought to you by the color green.
Yes.
Or the color red. Well, today's episode is brought to you by the color Georgian Revival Blue. That is my crush. We're painting a farmhouse right now, or shall I say an expert is painting it, and I'm just pointing.
There has to be a pointer.
So
every project needs a pointer.
Yes. So I'm pointing. So
the outside, the exterior?
Well, no. It's just the front door. So no, we're actually painting the house. Actually, I think he's already finished. A creamy white called Steamed Milk. These are all Sherwin Williams paints, because those are the paints that he buys, which are really good quality paints anyway, by the way. Steamed Milk. And then the front door is Georgian Revival Blue, and it's a cerulean blue.
Oh, how perfect.
It's a very bold blue. We had kind of a maroon colored door. And so I went a completely different, and the house was green. It was called, I think, Escape Green, which was kind of a gray green. So, I thought it was time to go with a white. And we have a limestone base around the house, so I couldn't go with anything too bright white, or it was going to look really dirty. So this is a very creamy white.
I think that's going to be beautiful. And that sounds like a great blue. I'm going to check that out.
Yes, so he sent me a picture of the back door, but I haven't seen a picture of the front door yet, but I'm very excited. So, yes.
I hope everybody had fun today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We so enjoy talking with you and talking with each other. So I hope that you're finding that the podcast is a little bright spot in your day. And remember, we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.